Right now, as you watch this, you are not in control, not of your habits, not of your emotional reactions, not of the beliefs that quietly determine every decision you make, every relationship you choose, every limit you accept as real. 95% of your daily mental activity is generated by your subconscious mind, a program running silently beneath the surface of your awareness, a program you did not write, a program that was installed in you before you were old enough to question it. Neuroscientists have confirmed this. The numbers are not metaphorical. By the time you reach the age of 35, approximately 95% of who you are, how you think, how you feel, how you respond to the world, is automatic, subconscious, a replay of patterns laid down in the first 7 years of your life. And here is what they never tell you. The people who designed the system you grew up in knew this. They knew that the subconscious mind of a child is wide open, that it absorbs everything without filtering, that whatever is placed inside it during those critical years becomes the invisible architecture of the adult that child will become. And they used that window deliberately. Today we go into how it was done, what was installed, and how you begin to take back control of the program running your life. Let's go deeper. Between the ages of 0 and 7, the human brain operates primarily in a state called theta brainwave activity. Theta is the same brainwave state that adults enter during deep hypnosis and the moments just before sleep. It is a state of profound suggestibility, a state in which information bypasses the critical faculty and goes directly into the subconscious without filtering. This is not a design flaw. In early childhood, theta programming serves a vital function. A child needs to download enormous amounts of information about the world rapidly. Language, social norms, physical laws, behavioral patterns, and theta allows this to happen at extraordinary speed. But here is the problem. A child in theta cannot distinguish between a belief that serves them and a belief that limits them. It cannot evaluate whether what it is being told is true or false, helpful or harmful. It simply absorbs. Everything it sees, hears, and experiences during those years goes straight into the subconscious as programming, as fact, as the foundational architecture of reality itself. Dr. Bruce Lipton, a cell biologist whose research on the relationship between mind and biology transformed the field of epigenetics, spent decades documenting this process. His conclusion was unambiguous. The beliefs installed in the subconscious mind during childhood are not just psychological patterns. They directly regulate the biology of the body. They determine which genes are expressed and which are suppressed. They shape the immune system, the hormonal system, and the nervous system. You are not just running a mental program from childhood. You are running a biological one. Let's go deeper. So what exactly was placed inside that open window? Think back to the messages that surrounded you before you had the capacity to question them. Not just the explicit ones, the things you were told directly, but the implicit ones. The ones encoded in how the adults around you behaved, in what was rewarded and what was punished, in the emotional atmosphere of the environment you grew up in. You are not smart enough. You need to work harder to deserve love. The world is dangerous. Money is scarce. People cannot be trusted. You are not the kind of person who succeeds. Stay small, stay safe, do not stand out. These messages were not necessarily delivered with malice. Most of the adults who transmitted them were running their own subconscious programs, programs installed in them by adults who were running programs installed in them. The transmission was automatic, generational. A chain of limitation passed from one open window to the next, but the system amplified it. The education system rewarded conformity and punished deviation, installing the belief that your worth is determined by your compliance. The media constructed a reality of scarcity, threat, and inadequacy, installing the belief that you are perpetually not enough and the world is perpetually dangerous. The advertising industry, which by the mid-20th century had access to the full body of psychological research on subconscious influence, built an entire economy on the deliberate installation of artificial needs and manufactured insecurities. This was not accidental. Edward Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud and the founder of modern public relations, wrote explicitly in 1928 about the deliberate manipulation of the subconscious mind of the masses as a tool of social and economic control. He called it the engineering of consent, and the techniques he pioneered became the foundation of every advertising campaign, every political communication strategy, and every media operation that followed. They knew the window was open, and they built an entire industry to climb through it. Let's go deeper. Here is how the installed program expresses itself in your adult life. You set a goal. You feel genuinely motivated. You take the first steps. And then, almost inevitably, something happens. Resistance, procrastination, self-sabotage, a sudden collapse of motivation that you cannot rationally explain. You find yourself back where you started, wondering why you cannot seem to follow through on the things you consciously want. This is not a character flaw. This is a program conflict. Your conscious mind, the 5%, has decided it wants something new, but your subconscious mind, the 95%, is running a program that defines you as someone who does not have that thing. And the subconscious always wins, not because it is more intelligent, but because it is faster, older, and operates continuously while the conscious mind is distracted by the demands of daily life. Dr. Joe Dispenza, whose work bridges neuroscience and quantum physics, has spent years documenting this mechanism. His research shows that most people wake up every morning and immediately begin recreating the same mental and emotional state they were in the day before. Not because they choose to, because the subconscious program activates before the conscious mind has fully engaged and begins generating the same thoughts, the same emotional responses, the same habitual perceptions that it generated yesterday, and the day before, and every day for decades. You think you are living your life. In reality, you are replaying a recording. Let's go deeper. So if 95% of your life is being run by a program you did not consciously choose, the question is not whether to rewrite it. The question is how. Because this is where the knowledge that was suppressed becomes practical. The subconscious mind was written in theta, and the most direct way to rewrite it is to return to theta. This is why hypnotherapy, for all the ridicule it has received from mainstream psychology, produces results that talk therapy frequently cannot. Talk therapy engages the conscious mind. Hypnotherapy bypasses it and speaks directly to the subconscious in the language it was originally programmed in. The same principle underlies meditation. Extended meditative practice produces theta brainwave states, and in those states, with deliberate intention, the subconscious becomes writable again. new beliefs, new self-concepts, new emotional patterns can be installed, not by repeating affirmations at the conscious level, but by entering the state in which the subconscious is receptive and planting them directly. This is what the ancient traditions were doing with their initiatory rituals. The elaborate ceremonies, the fasting, the rhythmic drumming, the extended chanting, all of it was technology for inducing altered brainwave states in which the subconscious could be deliberately reprogrammed. The initiate entered the ritual as one person and emerged as another, not metaphorically, but neurologically. The second method is repetition with emotion. The subconscious does not respond to logic, it responds to feeling. A belief installed with strong emotional charge goes deeper and holds longer than any amount of rational argument. This is why advertising works. It pairs its messages with carefully engineered emotional states, and it is why deliberately pairing new beliefs with genuine emotional experience, through visualization, through somatic practice, through the kind of felt sense rehearsal that athletes use before competition, is one of the most effective ways to begin shifting the subconscious program. The third method is the hardest and the most important: becoming the observer. The program runs automatically only as long as you are inside it. The moment you step back, the moment you notice a thought, an emotional reaction, a habitual response, and recognize it as a program rather than as reality, you have created a gap. And in that gap is choice. Not the forced choice of willpower, which always loses to the subconscious eventually, but the genuine choice that comes from awareness. You cannot rewrite what you cannot see. Seeing it is the beginning. 95% of your life has been running on a program you did not write, installed before you could read, before you could reason, before you had any capacity to evaluate what was being placed inside you. The system knew the window was open, and it used that window to build a version of you that would fit neatly inside the world it needed you to inhabit. Compliant, limited, perpetually reaching for things just out of reach, running the same loop and calling it life. But here is what they could not install: the awareness that is reading these words right now, the part of you that can step back from the program and watch it run, that can recognize a belief as a belief rather than as reality, that can choose, slowly, imperfectly, but genuinely, to place something different in the space where the old program used to live. That awareness was never programmed. It is what you are beneath the programming, and it is the only thing that was ever capable of setting you free. If this opens something, leave a comment below. Tell us one belief you know was installed in you that you are ready to rewrite. We read every one. We will see you in the next one.